John Marshall, Oncology Unscripted. It's unscripted because you can't make this stuff up. I don't know if your week or the last two has been anything like mine, but our country and our science and healthcare and all of that stuff is really undergoing an incredible number of changes so quickly that we can't even catch up with what the impact will be. And maybe it's only because we're in healthcare, but I gotta believe that the impact that all of these changes, these edicts that are coming out on Friday afternoons are going to have on science, on the future, on discovery, on curing cancer. We're really feeling at threat. And so what I wanted to do is talk a little bit about that today in our current episode. Now, our main theme today is about the imbalance of credit in the scientific community. And we've really drilled down on the topic of around women in science and how they, over the decades, century, has not really been able to get the same credit as men. But we have to talk about all that's been going on just in the last 1 to 2 weeks. You know, we went from the freeze that we've already talked about to now this cutting of people, just firing a bunch of people at the FDA, a bunch of people at the NIH, a bunch of people at the National Cancer Institute. And these are at essentially all levels, some of the leadership levels, some of the mid, some of the earliest hires, those within their first couple of years were fired on a dime, no matter what role they were playing. One person that I know, I used to coach her in basketball when she was a young woman. Now she's a grown woman, and she's an epidemiologist working at the FDA. And because she's only a year and a half into her career, she was fired on Friday afternoon. And what she was doing was reviewing medical devices to make people better able to get around. Accessibility was what she was all about. And now no one's doing that job. So I don't know, will there be no improvements in accessibility because those people are not there? We then had the cap on indirects applied. All the cancer center directors got an email around that. All the medical center leaders, academic center leaders got the email. And so we're all scurrying around to see what can we still do moving forward. What do we have to stop on a dime in order to keep the books open and to keep everything going the best we can? What will be the future of research and science in the current world without all of this infrastructure? Diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility gone, right? So if we can't have that, how will we acknowledge and credit those folks whose role it is to make sure that we are hiring the best person, not the person who looks like the last person, right? So quality and qualifications are what DEIA was all about, not about what others seem to think it's all about. So how are we going to maintain that? And will the quality of those folks that are in these positions therefore fall because we're not hiring the best people? One area that we have made clear success in is progress for women in science. Most of my medical school class, I think more than half of my medical school class was women. More than half of my residency program was women. More than half of my faculty here at Georgetown is women. When you look at leadership positions, though, when you look at credit for academic productivity, there's still work to be done. And we need to make sure we're hearing all the right voices and those that have been successful and those that have struggled so that we can better balance, make even our world today so that women have the same opportunities and credit that we do as men. So our focus today with incredibly smart people is to drill down on the issue of women in science and how to ensure balance, and parity for all.